A week ago, I was on South Beach. What even is this place? China banned cryptocurrency, and Alibaba, what was once a fairly safe place to get machines at a somewhat reasonable price, what world am I living in, banned the sale of crypto mining equipment. Oddly, they still allow companies to list miners though, but the conversation quickly devolves to them asking you for a WhatsApp number, where they will often require you to pay in Tether or Ether, with literally no recourse if they were just to turn around and change their number after you send them $10,000 to $14,000. This makes ordering new equipment very scary. Of course, some of those manufacturers will send you the equipment you ordered. A guy could probably say most of them will. But there is no question that people are being scammed now that trade assurance is no longer an option. But what if someone else were to take on that risk for you? Someone I guess you could sue if they tried to screw you over. God, the wind, what is this place? A company with a registered business and insurance and an address in the United States. I went on a search for just that. And in the spirit of going all the way, airborne, I didn't just buy some mining equipment and wait to see if it showed up or not. I asked if the boys and I could drive up and meet them in person. They agreed. We got in my truck and headed north, way north. The intro to this video, as unusual of a thing it was to do, was the actual handoff of my new S19j Pros. That was the real moment that I took possession in some snow-covered field in an industrial area of Minneapolis. Anyway, meet Blake and Chris from Musk Miners. I have opened up a Discord channel, link in the description, and in it you'll find a section called Mining Hardware, where these two are chained to a computer desk in a damp basement with a single bare light bulb hanging down, one of those little metal chains that you pull to turn it on, to answer your questions and sell you mining machines. Just kidding. They may take a minute to get back to you if they're like in the bathtub or out to dinner or whatever people do. But they will happily talk to you about crypto and they can get you the hardware you need. Now yes, there's going to be a little markup when you buy from them or when you buy from anyone in the United States, but nothing like the prices you see on eBay or on Amazon at the moment. The prices of Bitcoin miners change daily, so I can't really speculate on the actual price, but for me, it's worth it to pay a small percentage more than the China prices to not have to deal with the stress of sending money overseas to a person with an obviously made up name who really could just take your money with basically no recourse. Instead, Musk Miners will take on that risk, and the machines that you order are guaranteed.
We have insurance, we have general liability insurance, we have an umbrella policy. I won't specify the numbers.
The fun doesn't stop there either. These crypto pioneers are opening a hosting facility in Texas soon, and one in North Dakota too.
We'll have hosting in February, tentatively based on container production. So that'll be an upstream container and a BitRAM container. Both containers are professionally manufactured. The upstream container is 325 kW and the BitRAM container is 1 megawatt.
You better believe I'm flying down there just as soon as it's ready to take a look and pass on in brilliant 4K footage the conditions and the feeling of the place. Chris and Blake expect it to be online and accepting new clients by February. By all means, jump on into my new fancy Discord server if you want to get in on that action. I think I will. They've done a really clever thing. They've got a natural gas power plant to agree to let them use the power generated from flaring and overflow. I'm almost certainly going to get the details of this next part wrong, but you get the gist. If you've ever driven near a gas plant, you might have seen a tall pipe sticking out of the ground with a flame coming out of it. That's called flaring. They're literally just burning off extra gas because the pressure built up or some other thing. But evidently, instead of burned, it can be run through a generator to produce power.
If you can take 50% of that gas and redivert it into a generator and make Bitcoin with it instead of burning it off and watching the smoke come out in the atmosphere, then you're reducing that emission by 50%, right? And you're making money.
Which means, sort of, in a roundabout way, if you think about it, they have found a way to turn power produced from natural gas into green energy, since that same gas was otherwise literally just going to be burned off into the air anyway, and it's a little bit cleaner to run it through a generator. Nevertheless, maybe that's important to you, maybe it isn't, but the second effect that has on the electricity is that they can host your miners for cheaper than you can do at home, even after taking their cut. It's really a circumstance where everyone's a winner.
If you want to host with us, you'll need to order a minimum of 10.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
Maybe
We're still, it depends on the container probably.
Yeah.
We'll probably have that conversation.
You don't have to have loud, hot, and noisy machines running in your house or garage, or maybe you live in a condo, I don't know. You don't have to maintain them. They'll replace the fans, they'll do resets, change the filters, or whatever else is involved in keeping these things humming along. And they'll do that all while charging you less money than if they didn't do it for you. Like, it actually costs less money to host with them than it does to host on your own, depending on your electrical costs. Mine in Orlando, Florida are 11 cents per kilowatt hour. They're gonna charge 8.5 all in.
I think we're looking at about 8.5 cents all in.
And since they're at the power plant, the likelihood of a power outage and downtime for your miners is much smaller than basically anywhere else. Initially, I was a little worried about Texas and what happened last year with their power outages, but evidently this power generation is off-grid, so it's not part of the main grid that went down. If that goes down, this won't go down, because they have to be off-gassing this gas all the time because of however natural gas works. I don't know. So contact Chris or Blake, or Chris and Blake, to talk about getting some miners, or to talk about future hosting of your miners at their facility. And please, please, please tell them you heard about them from Nicholas over at the Space Warehouse, or go in the Discord server. They're going to be in there. You can talk directly to them. Full disclosure, I will get a tiny little slice of that pie for having sent you to them, but that won't cost you any extra, and it'll only lead to bigger and better experiments and videos for this channel, like doing it on the lake in the middle of Minnesota. I'm putting their direct contact info in the description of this video, right next to a link to my Discord server, and of course you can just go over to muskminers.com to look it over. They're newish, so when you're doing your DD, you'll be able to find them on Instagram, but they won't have very many followers, so by all means go on over there and say hi to them too. Now I have to drive back down to Florida and get these two S19j Pros on the rack in the hurricane room. Then Sarah and I are off on a Christmas cruise to do some scuba diving in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean? In the Caribbean. Meanwhile, I'm up here, standing on a lake, standing on water. This is supposed to be water. Who lives like this? Where's my dog? I'm leaving. I can't feel my hands.